Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association. Missouri produces wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details on the variety of products made in the state are at choosewood.com.
It's Tuesday, October 31st. This is The Gateway. I'm Wayne Pratt. St. Louis University graduate student Intimaa AbuHelou is terrified for her family, who lives in central Gaza. It's been nearly 2 weeks since she heard from him.
It was like hearing horrible wishes from your parents because they don't know if they're going to wake up alive or not.
St. Louis Public Radio's Andrea Henderson spoke with AbuHelou about the Israel-Hamas war and how her family is dealing with the devastating conflict. We'll have that conversation in just a few minutes. Picketing outside the Wentzville GM plant is on hold following a tentative agreement between the automaker and UAW. St. Louis Public Radio's Will Bauer reports.
The deal includes a 25% pay raise over roughly 5 years. Wentzville employee Xavier Crenshaw says the contract doesn't include everything they wanted, but it's a good start.
I think every day was worth it, for us holding the line and doing what we had to do to come to a good agreement. So, if you ask me, I say it was well worth it, and I'm glad that we was able to do it, and stand strong together.
UAW leadership said it will soon communicate with its members about how and when to return to work. From there, leadership will vote on the tentative deal, and it could send the deal to members late this week. In Wentzville, I'm Will Bauer, St. Louis Public Radio.
An appellate judge from Springfield is Governor Mike Parson's pick to fill a vacancy on the Missouri Supreme Court. Ginger Gooch spent several years in private practice before being named to the Southern District Court of Appeals. The governor's decision means the state Supreme Court will have a female majority for the first time. Gooch says it's an honor to play a role in reaching that milestone.
It's a wonderful opportunity, and it just also makes me filled with gratitude for all of the outstanding lawyers and judges that I've worked with in my career, both men and women.
Gooch will succeed Patricia Breckenridge, who retired this year. St. Louis County Prosecutor Wesley Bell is abandoning his U.S. Senate bid and instead running against Democratic Congresswoman Cori Bush. St. Louis Public Radio's Jason Rosenbaum reports on why the Democratic officeholder is changing course.
Bell says he's abandoning his U.S. Senate bid and instead trying to oust Bush, who has represented Missouri's 1st congressional district since 2021. Bell chastised Bush for not supporting some of President Joe Biden's agenda, pointing to her vote against the federal infrastructure bill. But Bush easily pushed back a Democratic challenge in 2022, beating State Senator Steve Roberts in a landslide. Bell says he isn't deterred by Bush's electoral track record.
And in this case, this district needs steady and effective leadership. This country needs steady and effective leadership. And I'm making this run because I believe it's the right thing to do.
The primary for the 1st congressional district seat will take place next August. I'm Jason Rosenbaum, St. Louis Public Radio.
St. Louis's budget director says the city does not have a plan if voters decide not to renew the earnings tax. Members of a House committee examined that city tax during a meeting yesterday in St. Louis. There would be a 10-year phase-out if voters ever reject the levy, but Budget Director Paul Payne says implementation of that is not clear.
There is no current scenario which says our earnings tax goes away, and this is what we do.
Residents have voted 3 times since 2010 to retain the tax. The next retention vote is in 2026. Attorneys representing Missouri Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft say a Cole County judge overstepped when rewriting an abortion rights ballot summary. Noah Taborda reports.
The original summary says the proposed constitutional amendments allowed dangerous and unregulated abortions until live birth. Last month, Circuit Court Judge John Beadham rewrote the summary as establishing a right to make decisions about reproductive health care and undoing the near-total ban on abortion. Assistant Attorney General Josh Devine argued the appeals court should restore the original wording.
The trial court strayed far from its legitimate role when it decided to rewrite every single word of every single statement.
The ACLU of Missouri is asking the panel to uphold Beadham's decision, arguing Ashcroft let his personal beliefs override his duty. I'm Noah Taborda.
The Vatican will consider appeals from 2 closed parishes in the St. Louis region. The Archdiocese of St. Louis says a Vatican council will consider the cases of St. Elizabeth, mother of John the Baptist in North City, and Saints Philip and James Parish in St. Genevieve County. The closures are part of the Archdiocese All Things New reorganization plan that reduces the number of parishes from 178 to 135. Archbishop Mitchell Rosansky says the appeals are an anticipated part of the process. Illinois' annual public school report card shows students have largely caught up to pre-pandemic achievement in reading, but are still struggling in math. Sarah Karp reports.
Nearly 35% of Illinois 3rd through 11th graders scored at a proficient level in reading and writing on tests given last spring. That's only 3 percentage points below where students were pre-pandemic. State Superintendent Tony Sanders says it's especially good because Illinois has one of the highest standards for reading proficiency in the nation.
Great sign for the state of Illinois that we are really back on track, specifically in English language arts. Math, we still have more work to do.
Only 27% of students reach proficiency in math. Sanders says going forward, he wants to make sure students are getting high-quality math instruction.
That's reporter Sarah Karp. Intimaa AbuHelou is no stranger to war. The St. Louis University graduate student grew up in central Gaza, and much of her family still lives there. AbuHelou recently sat down with St. Louis Public Radio reporter Andrea Henderson to talk about trying to stay in touch with her family during a time of war and why this conflict is different from those in the past between Israel and Hamas.
They sound scared. And the last time I talked to my parents, it's the first time in my life to sense that they're scared. Because, during the wars, my parents tend to be strong and solid because they wanted to reassure us. They wanted, to provide us with safety, but it's the first time in my life to ever feel that my parents are scared too. My mom words to me were difficult. She told me, I don't know if we're gonna stay alive or not, but whatever happens, just stay strong, take care of yourself, take care of your health, take care of your study, and always keep in contact with your sister, because I have a sister, she's in Qatar. So she told me, my mom was telling me, you should take care of each other. Whatever happens, you have your sister to support you, and you should support your sister. So it was like hearing horrible wishes from your parents, because they don't know if they're gonna wake up alive or not. To them, it was the most scary part would be the night, because they would bomb in a crazy way. But now it's even during the day. My mom told me my brother was trying to get water for them, and they bombed a house. He was walking very close to the house, because you never know. He want to bring water. It's nowhere safe. You would be targeted at any time, at any given time. They are now taking shelter in honor schools because they think that it's a safe place. Because honor schools, it's the United Nations Relief and Work Agency for Palestinian refugees.
Okay.
So it's an operating agency for the United Nations. So honor schools should be protected by international laws. So that's why people are taking shelter in the honor schools, because they think it's a safe place. But since the beginning of the war, they have bombed 5 honor schools, while more than 10,000 Palestinians are taking shelter there.
Mm-hmm.
So no place is safe. That's the thing, that you can't walk out, you can't get your basics, because at any given time you would be targeted.
So 10 days went by after your mom, the first day she told you to take care of your sister. What do you remember, or what was going through your mind, and how did you kind of take care of yourself for those 10 days that went by until you were able to speak to your family again? And how did you get back in contact with them?
I was physically here, but my heart and my mind was with my family and my people. I was feeling guilty the entire time. Being here, being in a safe place, having access to food, internet, water. while your parents and your people are starving, while your parents and your people are not safe, and I couldn't help but to feel guilty and to wish to be there with them, to wish to be there to hug my nephews. Because my sister, she sent me a video of her 5-year son telling her my mom, Mom, I don't want you to die. I don't want my sister to die. I don't want my grandparents to die. And asking her is it going to be painful if we died? If we died and we're under the rebels, will my grandfather come to help and take us from under the rebels? It was hard hearing that, hearing this, how a 5 years kid around the world, he should be in a park or, going to school, while a 5-year-old kid in Gaza is thinking about death. We're living in different realities from what we should be living to what we're actually living.
You said that you spoke with them again 10 days later. Did you call them when I guess that was on the 17th?
So my mom, my parents, and my siblings are taking children in honor school, and that day they had to rent a generator because they had, among the other families, there were patients with cancer. So they needed to rent a generator, so they were able to charge their cell phones and get connected to internet. And my mom, she's the one that texted me, because a mom will always be a mom. So she was worried about me, though I should be the one that is concerned about them. She was making sure that I'm okay instead of me making sure that they're okay.
What did she say to you?
Just the same thing, take care of yourself, take care of your health, eat well, don't talk a lot about it. You're in a country that wants to protect you. You're a foreigner here. Just know that I love you, and I'm proud of you, and that I always pray for you.
So when you saw that message come through, what were you thinking?
I was happy that they're okay, but I was heartbroken because it seemed like a farewell messages. Imagine your parents telling you we may die at any time, so you take care of yourself. It was hard reading these messages.
Have you spoken with any of your friends or anybody else that may possibly be, under attack as well?
Whenever I check my news feed on Facebook, I see another family that I know wiped out. A lot of my friends and their entire families got killed. And
I'm so sorry to hear that.
And it is hard to reach out to them during this time because of the internet problem, and I have no words to tell them because I know how it feels. I just feel speechless. What can I say? What can I say that can make you feel safe? What can I say that can make you feel better? Nothing would I say would make you feel better, but to pray for them.
St. Louis University grad student Intimaa AbuHelou spoke with St. Louis Public Radio reporter Andrea Henderson. More about this conversation at stlpr.org. Our Brian Moline edited that report. The Gateway is a presentation of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri-St. Louis. Music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, providing more than 41,000 jobs in the production of wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details at choosewood.com.